Hi everyone, 2021 October paper, IAL 2021, Unit 3. You can see this paper is 2-hour paper, right? And Unit 3 called Business Decisions and Strategy. Unit 3, International Advanced Level Business. Unit 3, Business Decisions and Strategy, right? So they have 3 sections are there. So in this paper, for general instructions, you can use a black ink or ballpoint like usual, like your IGCSE, and then you have to write your name, right, your center number, candidate number, everything, and answer all questions section A, B, and C, right? A, B, and C. There are 3 case studies are coming. General information. So I prefer normally usually you can spend 1 hour in section A and half an hour in section B and half an hour in section C. Then you can fully utilize the 2 hours, right? And you can write the answers in the spaces provided. There may be more space than you need, and paper out of 80, right? Paper is out of 80. Use mark for each question shown in the bracket. Use this guide as how much time you spend on each question. For example, that's why it's a 20-mark question. It's not 20, you can go up to 30 minutes. That's why. So my plan is usually use a section A 1 hour, section B half an hour, section C half an hour, because with the reading time you can do it, right? Okay, let's go to the case study section A. We'll read the case study 1. Sources for section A. Extract A, British Airways, the cash cow. British Airways, you know, the famous airline, British Airline. British Airways, the BA, is the second largest airline in the UK and part of the larger group of airlines. BA merged with the Iberia in 2011, created International Consolidated Airlines Group, IAG, which has since taken over Aer Lingus as well as Vueling and Level 2 low-cost airliners. Financially, IAG outperforms Europe's other big airliners. PA is the main reason for this. Its return on capital has grown and it provides a larger share of IAG's operating profit. Right. So when you're reading a case study, right, especially section A, you can read the case study first and then you can go to the answering part. But with the case, sections B and section C, you have to read the question first and then you have to go for the answering section. Right. You can see in this case study, what are the important things you can see? You can write, you can underline the names itself because you can useful in your application, right? Especially these terms like IAG, and it has just taken over Aer Lingus as well as a Vueling level like that. So there are certain names are there you can memorize and then you can underline that one. And also there's a data response question also there. You can see the chart. This was book. You can see chart here. You can see global. Yeah, IAG total returns on capital. IAG total return on capital. They have given the operating profit, and then you can see how much their return on capital over the years. Total returns on capital base year 2011. You can see it's going up and up and up. Right, there are ups and downs, but you can see it's the trend line starting from the 100 level. Now it's going surpass 200 level. Also, it went once it went more than 250 also. Right, this is their IAG's total returns on capital, right, index number and the years. Okay, and the British Airways operating profit. British Airways operating profit is the pound billion value. You can see from 1988 onwards they have numbers. 1988 to 2018. You can see starting from 1988. That's up to 2000. Okay, I think 1995. You can see it's £500 million. Pound, and then they reached the 1 billion pound in first of all in year 2014, and after that you can see 2017, 18. Year 2018 is the highest profit. You can see they surpassed 2 billion, right? 2 billion level, right? 2 billion pound profit level they surpass, and they now reach into 2.5 billion, right? And but some years are there. You can see 2010 is a loss-making year. 2009 was a loss-making year. Right, and also you can see the 2003 also another loss-making year. Right, these things are there. British Airways, and also extract B. Extract B. You can see the selected data for Airbus A350,000 aircraft. By using this always this data response question, you can see you can get some kind of a calculation type of question always they're asking. Therefore, you can see the purchase price is there, 366 million. Average length of service is there. Average yearly net cash flow is there. Average number of seats are there. So you can see you can find out by using this, especially break-even calculation. You can do because the selling price is there, right? And then average number of seats. We'll see what kind of a question will come. Okay, and extract C. You can see another situation. IAG buys Air Europa for 1 billion euro, right? IAG is spending 1 billion to buy Air Europa, another Spanish airline, right? So you see the main airline is a British Airlines and IAG. So IAG buys another Spanish airline, Air Europa, serves 69 destinations, right? You can underline when you're writing this kind of a case study, you can underline 69 destinations. Air Europa is the third largest Spanish airline after Iberia and Vueling. So they are the third largest Spanish airlines after Iberia and the Vueling, both of which are already owned by IAG. So IAG is a big like a conglomerate European airline. You can see recent catches Air Europa serves 69 destinations. In 2018, Air Europa made an operating profit of 100 million euro. It had a revenue of 2.1 billion euro from 11.8 million passengers. It serves many niches destinations in South America, including Paraguay, Colombia, Iguazu, and the border of the Argentina and the Brazil. Right. Next track D, you can see angry passengers. Angry passengers as tens of thousands affected by BA system failure. Now we can see this extract B. You can see when you extract C, when you're reading this case study, you can get some kind of idea. This is regarding some kind of a expansion project, right? Organic or inorganic? It's a inorganic, right? Expansion, because why? The acquisition, M&A, mergers and acquisitions. So the story regarding to some inorganic expansion. In the extract D, you can see angry passengers as tens of thousands affected by the BA system failure. So this case, you can see when you're reading this kind of a content, right, you might be able to understand what is the content they're asking, right? They're asking about the content of contingency planning. We talk about the IT system failures and everything can become in the contingency planning lesson. There are system failures can become. So what is this case study here? In August 2019, BA had many angry passengers as more than 500 flights were cancelled or delayed as a result of an IT system failure. So you can underline 500 flights cancelled, not single, one or two, 500 flights. So people will get, right, what happened? They will definitely get angry, definitely get distress because of the flight cancellation, their plans they have to change. This is because of what, right? In August 2019, there was IT system failure, right? When there's IT system failure, you have to cancel the flight because you can't take any risk. It affected the travel plans of tens of thousands of people with holiday and business plans traveling from London, Heathrow, Gatwick, and city airports, right? So these destinations was important. So under Heathrow Airport, Gatwick Airport, City Airport, this was not the first time. This is not the first time BA British Airline had IT failures. This is not regarding the IAG. This is the British Airlines, right? One of the best and one of the leading airlines in the world. In 2017, 75,000 passengers were stranded around the world when the BA was forced to cancel more than 700 flights over 3 days due to IT system failures. A data breach in 2018 affected 400,000 customers and led to a fine of 183 million pounds. BA claimed it regularly carries out detailed risk assessment of its IT systems and IT infrastructure, right? It's dependent on IT systems for many of its key business process. So you can see must have some kind of a contingency planning, right? Because why? There are so many IT systems are there. If IT system fail means you can see how many it actually go like a kind of multiply effect on different areas, including customers, because around 400,000 customers affected from this situation, and also they have led to fine of 183 million pounds. Right. So this is all about the case study A, B, C, D, right? All these cases regarding to the section A. We have another one more extract is there. We'll read that also. You can see the previous extract regarding the contingency planning. You'll see what this case study is about. BA, to offset domestic flight emissions from 2020. Right? British Airlines to offset domestic flight emissions from 2020. Right? British Airline will offset all domestic CO2 carbon dioxide flight emissions from 2020. After its owner IAG becomes the first airline group to commit to net zero carbon flying by 2050. IAG is responsible about 3% of the global aviations of carbon dioxide emissions. Okay, so 3%, right? One company, 3% of the carbon dioxide emissions actually responsible to IAG, right? And offsetting follows business to invest in environmental projects to balance out their own carbon footprint. Chief Executive of IAG, the Willie Walsh, said that the company would reach the net zero carbon target through offsetting, but it already has a strong environmental policy that significantly reduces its environmental footprint by recycling and cutting waste from aircrafts. Walsh said BA is replacing older, less fuel efficient aircraft. He said the new Airbus A350,000, which has just entered service on the transatlantic route to Toronto, would typically use 4 to 3 instead of 70 tons of jet fuel to carry a similar number of passengers. These points are important. Take these points, right? Because they want to be environmentally friendly. So now they actually reduce their use of the fuel from 4 to 3. They're using instead of 70 tons of jet fuel. These things are there, right? And they're changing their less fuel efficient planes to new one. So it's all about this up to E. You can see this is all section A questions. Okay. Now we'll move on to the questions in the case study, section A. Question number 1. Explain one way shareholder of IAG might be affected by the data shown in the extract A. Right. When you're writing an answer for this kind of an explain question, you have to write 2 application points. You know already the application points means you have to write from the case study, right? They're asking that situation where stakeholder that been affected by the shareholders. Right, you can see the extract A giving some kind of a return on capital employed, the return on the company from the different years from 1998. Right, when you're writing this kind of a answer, you have to mainly think about the application. At least 2 applications points you should require. Right, the question again I'm reading. So the question asking, explain one way a shareholder of IAG might be affected by the data shown in the extract A. So extract A is all about you can see the case study. I'll show you the extract A again, right? You can see extract A. They say British Airways is a cash cow. You know, cash cow quadrant, we talk about the under portfolio analysis and the Boston metrics, you know, stars, cash cow, question marks, problem child, like that. There are certain things. So cash cow is a situation where we have a high market share but low market growth. So cash cow is like they're earning profit, they're earning money, but there is no real growth. So this situation, they say British Airways like that. And also how shareholders will be financially, they say financially IAG outperform. Right? So BA is the main reason for this. Right? So IAG's total return on capital they have given. Right, in the situation there, this is extract A. They're asking how shareholders will be impact on this. Right, so you can see index number, shareholders. They're looking at this number. What we can say? Okay, their share price will be going up. Right, it's good for the shareholders. Right, so this is now as you can see when you're writing, talk about the application 2 points. So one reason is important. You can see shareholders may see the value of their shares increase. And of course, that's the obvious answer. We can say is useful because the shareholders may see the value of their shares increase. Look at 2 application points. You can see since 2011, IAG total returns have increased by 100, right? 100 index point, right? Because it goes up to 100 level to 200 level, right? In 2011, and that's the first application point, 1 mark. And BA's operating profit have been increasing and were 2.3 billion pounds in 2018. You can see. And look at the analysis point. As IAG becomes more successful, the value of the shares and dividends may increase as the rewards for owning shares also increases. right? So that's the analysis part. When you're writing an answer, you have to write something. Okay, this will we can find out their share movements are there, right? They can see the application their share movement from 2011, 2019. You can see that 100 to 200 level. They go like 100 points. They have increased, right? From the base year point of view. As a result of that, what happened? The shareholders will be able to maximize their wealth, and also they become more successful. The value of shares and dividend may increase as the rewards for owning shares also increasing. Right. Now let's move on to the second question. Second question of the paper. So 4 marker. Right. So after first explain question, there is another question. It can be calculation or it can be explanation question. So this kind, it's a calculate question. They're asking to calculate the simple payback period for Airbus 350. Payback time. Okay. Right. So this is comes under investment appraisal techniques. We talk about payback, IRR, ARR, NPV techniques. So this is simple payback period for Airbus A350. You had advice show you're working. Okay, so you can see the calculation question. In my analysis, you can see I'll show you. Mainly, these calculation questions are usually coming in the section A. You can see this pink color shows the calculation so far. The unit 3 calculations are these are the calculation schemes. Firstly, they're asking the gross profit margin, and then they're asking to calculate the total sales revenue, and then they ask you to decimal place the markup ratio, and then calculate the ROCE, and this time they're asking the Airbus the simple payback. And in recent paper in 2022 Jan, there are 2 calculations. One is the ARR calculation, another one is a current ratio calculation. So this time they're asking simple payback for the first time. Right, we have recently about 6 papers. You can see simple payback they asked for the first time. Right, so simple payback how to calculate. So let's go to the calculations. Payback period, you know, there's a where the method you can calculate the payback period, how long it will take to recover your investment. Right, there's a payback period formula. Payback is the cost of initial investment divided by average yearly net cash flow. Right, you can memorize this one. We can use a mathematical way without memorizing. Also, you can do this thing because in the final answer correct, you can get your full marks. That's why if the answer is given without working, if no working is shown, right? If you got the final answer is 12, correct? Award 4 marks. So anyway, there are mathematical model is there how long it will take to cover your initial investment. So how to do that? Initial investment divided by average yearly net cash flow. This should be how much? 366 million. Cost of initial investment divided by $30.5. 366 million divided by $30.5 million. Average yearly net cash flow. And 366 divided by 30.5 equally is coming without decimals, 12 years coming. Answer is 12 years. So we'll see how we reach this answer, right? If you go to the question back, go to the case study also. Right, so extract B, they talk about the some numbers. Purchase price 360 is initial investment, and average yearly net cash flow is 30.5, right? For million, so 366 divided by 30.5 million, and they have given 27 years. They have given 380 seats to what? To deceive. Right? These are the like deceivers. You know, we can so many details can be given. Some details not applicable. Right? We don't need the length of the service, how many years they can practice, what is the number of seats, right? So what you have to do, purchase price divided by annual cash flow, then ours is 12 years. It will take 12 years to cover the cost of an airline, right? So that is how we calculate the payback period like this, right? I hope you can understand. 366 million divided by 30.5 million. All right. Okay, let's go to the next question. Now we did question number 1, section A, part A and part B. Right, okay, let's go to the next question. There is a 8-marker question, right? In unit 3, there are 2 4 markers, right? 1 8-marker and 2 12 markers are there. Part C, discuss the possible problem that might arise from IAG's takeover of Air Europa. Now, in one extract, if you remember, I told you there is a question based on inorganic growth, mergers and takeovers. They're asking one possible problems that might arise from IAG's takeover. They're asking, indirectly asking, in inorganic growth disadvantages. Organic growth, inorganic growth. There are so many questions are there in your past paper. You can analyze your past paper. You can see organic growth, inorganic growth questions are there. Are plenty of questions in your past paper. You can see here. We talk about the possible problems that might arise from IAG takeover, organic growth product. And then different ways they're asking. And also you can see the how like different, another question you can see strategic decision to expand their pickup service, organic growth question. This is for 20 marker, right? And like that, evaluate whether the organic growth is the best method of Spotify to use their plan. It's another question, 20 marker from organic growth, right? You can see another question, evaluate Netflix should fund its expansion by using long-term loan. This is another organic growth, right? So far you can see they ask about the organic growth 2 times in the paper, right? And inorganic growth they ask only 1 time in the paper, right? That is this question, right? IAG question. IAG question, they ask about the inorganic growth first time, discuss the possible problem that IAG raised from the takeover question, right? There are 220 markers came from organic side. This is the only one inorganic question in testing. So I'm expecting more, right? Normally inorganic questions, if you can study this time, will be more helpful, right? Because you can see the pattern, right? Normally, right? Discuss the possible problem that might arise from IAG's takeover. So when you are taking over, like, you know, when you take sometimes another company under your control, sometimes there can be cultural clashes can be happen because it's Europea is a European one, another Spanish one, right? And then there can be sometimes language problems can become, right? There can be some kind of a currency problems and, you know, staff problems. You can see the different answers are there. You can see what are the problems of the inorganic growth, right? According to the context. When you're writing a 8-mark question, the main structure is, right, you have to define what is the main point, the takeover, you have to define there, and then you have to write a positive point along with the negative point, and another positive point, and or you can see 2 positives and 2 negatives without conclusion. 8 markers, we don't need a conclusion, right? You can see the answer here. A takeover is when one business buys a controlling share of another business, right? This is a easy definition. Takeover or is one business buys a controlling share in another business. IAG has spent £1 billion to take over the Air Europea, which could result in a diseconomies of scale and internal communication problems. This is application points. You can see how much they spent to purchase this €1 billion to buy Air Europea, and also could result in diseconomies of scale and internal communication problems. Due to diseconomies of scale, internal communication problems can be happen. Diseconomies of scale occur when there is an increase in the average or unit cost as a business grows, right? So diseconomies of scale definition of they have given how it happened when the firm expand, average cost rise. The situation called diseconomies of scale. Economies of scale means when average cost falls, right? When there's increase of average cost or unit cost, we call it diseconomies of scale. How this can become due to communication problems. Now we have to put more application. How? By taking over another airline, right? IAG may see communication between the different parts of the organization and along the chain of command more difficult due to the size of the organization, right? So by taking over another airline, IAG may see a communication between the different parts of the organization, right? And along the chain of command and more difficult due to the size of the organization. Because IAG is a different organization. Europe is another organization. And another problem, say, the existing employees, right, at Air Europea might become demotivated by being taken over by a much larger business. Yes. Employee demotivation, right? We talk about the situations reluctant to change sometimes can become. Reluctant to change. Some employees would not comfortable with the new setup, new acquisitions. Therefore, they might be demotivated because of the taken over by a much larger business. And this could add overall cost to IAG. So they have justified how these problems come because of the takeover situation, right? Firstly, the economic, communication problems can become, and also on the other hand, there can be employee motivation can be go down. However, point, because you have to write the positive side also, because they're asking to analyze the impact, I mean the issues, right? The question, if you go to the question back, you can see they're asking, read the question properly, possible problems that might be arise from the IAG takeover. So therefore, we have to start to answer with the problem. Evaluation points are the negative, positive points. Don't try to answer starting from the takeover advantages. Start with the disadvantages here. What are the disadvantages? Communication problems can become. Staff motivation, right? You can see pilot and cabin crew members, their motivation will go down. However, point, the evaluation point only have to write about the positive point of the IAG takeover. You can see their technology can be shared, economies of scale. So you can see, you'll see the however point evaluation points on this question. However, IAG already owns two other Spanish airlines, Iberia and the Vueling. So has experience of taking over other airlines in this market, which could minimize the communication issues, right? So it already owns two other Spanish airlines. Iberia and the Vueling has experience of taking over other airlines in this market, which could minimize the communication issues. However, that can be happen, right? So, and also another point you can see, Air Europa is already a successful airline, right? In its own right, an IAG could gain a valuable niche routes to South America, which could offset any additional cost from the takeover. So they are given with the application-based evaluation points. The first point they are trying to mention that the like other two airlines, Iberia and Vueling, so has experience of taking over the airlines in this market. They have the experience of taking over the airlines in the market. And also, Europa is already a successful airline in its own right, and IAG could gain a valuable niche route to South America, which could offset any additional cost. So like that, so they are giving two positives and two negative when you write in this 8-marker question. Right. Okay, we'll go to the last two questions of the section A. Section A last question is a 12-marker. There are two 12-markers coming. First 12-marker, assess the extent to which the contingency planning might have reduced the risk of an IT system failure for a business such as BA. Talk about there was a problem, right? In 2019, like there's a in August, there was IT system failure. More than 400,000 passengers were affected by this. They had to pay 183 million compensation, right? You can see this question 12-marker. What is the answer structure? Write a definition. One positive, one negative, one positive, one negative, and the conclusion. That's how we have to write, right? Positive, two positives, two negatives, and the conclusion and the definition. So this case, they're asking how this contingency planning can reduce the risk of IT system failure for a British airline. You can write a good answer by using this. You can see contingency planning questions are there in your past papers. This is not the first time. So contingency planning, you can see I highlight in the maroon color. You can see as the extent which contingency planning might have give an impact on this contingency planning question there. It's for 12-marker this time. And there's another contingency planning question came in the beginning, the very first unit 3 paper of the new syllabus. For 20-marker, evaluate the extent which the succession planning can reduce the risk of business such as Alibaba. Succession planning. So this is another one, right? Succession planning. This is the contingency planning. Right? They asked only 2 questions so far from this contingency planning question. The 12-marker came from contingency planning. Right. So IT system failure, like you can see, this is the mark scheme. Define the contingency planning. A contingency plan is a course of actions designed to help a business. It's a course of actions designed to help a business respond successfully to a major future event that may or may not happen. So contingency planning is a course of action designed to help a business respond successfully. It's a plan of action designed to help a business respond successfully to a major future event. That may or may not happen. Right, that's an important definition that you should memorize. So now you can see the positives and negativities of the contingency planning regarding IT system failure to give you the application points. By having contingency plan in place when IT systems fail, BA would be ready to implement its plan to get its computer system back up and running as soon as possible. If you have a contingency planning with the IT system failure, must be able to implement the backup plan as soon as possible when the system fails. It's like a UPS. So UPS also kind of a contingency plan. No? What is UPS? Uninterrupted power supply. Same thing. No? When there's no power, UPS will give you some other extra life like 5 minutes, 50 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, some small battery, right, to actually keep use your computer. So you can save your items and you can shut down properly. Like same thing apply here. So a BA has seen several IT failures in recent years, included data breaches, which is resulted in a fine of 183 million. It's a data breach. And these IT failures have cost a BA in terms of having a rescheduled flights. This application, you have to reschedule the flights if you have cancelled. Damage its reputation and may have lost business due to the unhappy customer. Okay, so that's how it's actually important. And also by having a contingency plan, another advantage. In place, it might enable BA to resume normal working operations quickly and reduce the cost of any IT failures, particularly as the airline is very dependent on IT to run its business. That's right. So the second one. So they can actually quickly and reduce the cost of any IT failure because the airline is very highly depending on IT. Right? That's why the contingency plan enabled to BA to resume normal working operations, because flight cancellation is very bad for the airline as well as the country also. So therefore, it reduced the cost of IT failures. Therefore, it's highly depending. So therefore, it can resume their normal working practices and operations. However, contingency planning has some kind of a limitations. I mean, like not a drawback part, you can see limitations. It write down as a 2 application with the however point. However, contingency planning has an opportunity cost in terms of the time and resources. Yeah, that contingency planning also have is time consuming and resource wasting involving plan, need to be regularly tested and updated. These things are there. Therefore, it will be difficult. And BA regularly review its risk assessment for its IT systems, but failures are still occurring. You have to regularly review it. IT system can fail, right? And this demonstrates that contingency planning cannot cover every eventuality and failure can still occur. It's another limitation of the contingency planning, right? So you need to be regularly reviewed, and also the contingency planning cannot cover every decision, every problem, every failure you can't cover. Sometimes unexpected failures can become. Right? Who knows about that in the COVID? Right? Who talk about the, like now we talk about the some another one like some comes from, like I say, the monkeypox. Certain things are there like that. So contingency planning can't cover everything. They do a then thorough risk assessment, but still there can be a way a contingency planning also not working. So a contingency planning might be more useful for more common problems such as a political unrest in foreign markets, and but cannot cover all eventualities. That's a very important point. Take down. So cannot cover everything from this. This is just a one tool. Perhaps this is a conclusion. Alternative viewpoint you can give in the conclusion section, my dear students. So perhaps investment in new IT systems may be more important than the contingency plan. Right? So planning is important, but doing is something better than. I mean, like you have to plan it, but investment in new proper IT systems will be very good. Right? And BA clearly needs to review. British Airlines clearly need to review its contingency plan for its failing IT system, and this type of risk is to be reduced or avoid in the future. Right. So this is the conclusion part of this answer. I hope you understood this question. We go to the last question of the section A. Another 12 mark is waiting. So part E. Another 12 marker. Assess the likely strategic benefits for BA of reducing its environmental impact. So this question, you can see the strategic question, the strategic benefit, because we are doing this paper, what? Business decisions and strategy. Right? So what are the strategic benefits for BA of reducing its environmental impact? Because the British Airlines actually, right, they also contributed the carbon emissions, well, like a carbon emission, the global carbon dioxide footprint. So what they're going to do, they reduce their fuel tank from 90 tons to 43 tons only they are carrying now. Right? There are some certain steps are explained in the case study. So in this case, in your writing an answer, you have to start with the definition of. You see the answer here, right? So environmental impact. Consumers are becoming much more aware of the impact of the business activities on the environment, particularly industries which rely on fossil fuel. Right? So consumers are becoming much more aware about the impact of the business activities. Right? And also IAG is responsible for 3% of the global carbon dioxide emissions and need to show its stakeholder that it is committed to reducing its impact on the environment, which is strong environmental strategy. That is pure application. Right? Why they have to think about the environment? Because IAG, not British Airlines, IAG totally responsible 3%. 3%. Imagine. Entire world, we have about 8 billion population. 3% of the carbon dioxide come from one company. Right? So what happened then? Then carbon dioxide emissions will need to show the stakeholder that is committed to reducing its impact on the environment. Strong environmental strategy. Some way is important. By doing this, BA improve its branding and PR if they are seen to be aiming for net zero emissions and recycling their waste compared to other airlines, which may result in higher sales or profit in the long term. BA might be able to gain a competitive advantage over its rivals by being seen to be more environmentally friendly, thereby increasing market share. It's another advantage. You can see the competitive advantage coming because we should do some kind of environmentally friendly mission. Your company name, the reputation goes up, so you'll be more popular in the market. BA may gain the first move advantage. You can see the competitive advantage over rivals by being the more safe environment and then more environmental friendly, thereby increasing their market share. People would trust about the company. Okay, they are donating, they are saving environment. It's good, right? So they are change the people's mindset. And also they can gain the first move advantage. First move advantage, I think you might know this. First move advantage is whatever thing you do it first. Then there's advantage by being the first major airline to announce its aiming for net zero emissions by 2050. And BA will be able to reduce the cost in terms of the amount of fuel used on flights, which may increase overall profit. Yes, if you reduce the fuel, what happens? Right, overall profit will increase. However, look at the disadvantage of this strategy, environmental strategy. There can be limitations, not disadvantage. I mean, like there can be some limitations you can have, but we can overcome it, right? So, however, offsetting, recycling, and reduction, there are three situations are there: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Right? Reduce is there, recycle is there. This is called reusing, offsetting, right? Recycling, reduction of waste from the flights, which require management time to organize. The recycling of waste from the flights, which may impact on overall workload for cabin crew. It's impacted on the cabin crew. Fine, you can see like you can organize this waste management thing, but it will take some time. Right. And also there may be a trade-off between the profitability and also the ethical. Yeah, there can be a trade-off. Why? When you focus on the profit, what happens? Ethics will go away. Ethics will go away. Right? If you talk about concern 100% ethical business, what happens? Low profits, low profit, trade-off. We can talk about that. That's another one limitation. When you think about more environment, then profit will go down. That's of course happen. Being ethical often cost more in terms of recycling waste and disposing ethically of waste from airline food packaging rather than letting local authorities be responsible for waste. Right? So overall, you can see BA admits that they can only offset rather than completely reduce their carbon footprint due to having use of fossil fuel for their aircraft. Like you can see, at the end, they are talking about the conclusion point, right? They're talking about the completely reduce their carbon footprint due to having fossil fuel for their aircraft. And also, some customers, you need to write a conclusion definitely for 12 marker. Some customers do not value being ethical and prefer to have flights at a lowest possible cost. So this should be be a less competitive compared to other airlines that do not recycle. Right, that's very good because always in a financial model, when you analyze, you can see evaluate, you can see there are so many other models. For example, not only portals, there are other things also, and so forth there. Same way, you can say, okay, not only this, there sometimes customers do not value this. Who cares the environment? Like they might ask. So they talk about, okay, they might not value ethical things. They might think, okay, cheaper flights, safe flight, that's expecting, right? Not the environmental emissions. Okay, so that's how section number, it takes only 48 minutes for us to discuss everything. So you can see like within 1 hour you have to finish this section A. Right, now we are moving into the another 2 more questions, guys. You can see section B and section C we can finish like this way. Section B, read the question first. Half an hour you can spend in examination. Read the extract F in the source booklet before answering. Evaluate whether a business such as Microsoft Japan would be permanently introduce a 4-day working week to increase the labor productivity. So there's a section called human resource strategy, like increase the labor productivity, decrease the labor turnover, something like that. So in Microsoft Japan, how the introduction of the 4-day working week, right? You don't need to work five days, only 4 days, right? You have to work a little bit longer than usual because you have to cover another day. Like if you work like 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock, then you can save how many hours? 4 hours you can keep, and you can utilize that thing to get a holiday in another day. Like that, you can see permanently reducing 4-day working weeks to increase the labor productivity. In this case, you have to define what is labor productivity, right? And then say what is a 4-day working week, how this impact on the Microsoft and everything you have to talk about. Let's go to section B, extract F. Right. This case study, you can see Microsoft Japan, a 4-day working week, productivity gains. A small case study. You can see only just 1 page. Microsoft Japan. You see, for the month of August, Microsoft Japan trialed a new project called Work-Life Choice Challenge Summer 2019. It gave its 2,300 employees every Friday off in August without decreasing pay. Every Friday off. Wow. The business said it also reduced the time spent on meeting by having a 30-minute limit and encourage remote communication. Right? The shortened weeks led to more efficient meetings, happy employees, and boosted productivity by amazing 40%. Wow. As a part of the program, the company also subsidized family holidays for employees up to 100,000 yen. It's almost $920. Right? Where this happened? Microsoft Japan. Right? Japan, you can see the world's highest life expectancy country. Japan, 85 years. Second highest is Italy, 84 years. Right? You can see lowest is Swaziland, 58 years. You can see there are some countries with the highest life expectancy and lowest life expectancy. So Japan is the top life expecting country in the world. That's why these kind of activities are coming. Think about the quality of life than the profitability. Right. So guys, you can see the work of a short time, rest well, and learn a lot. Quoted, Microsoft Japan President and CEO Takuya Hirano said the statement on Microsoft Japan's website. Quoted, I want employees to think about and experience how they can achieve the same result with 20% less working time, unquote. This is how the CEO Takuya says that thing. And so Microsoft President statement is there. Again, quoted, work a short time, rest well, and learn a lot, unquote. So this is Microsoft Japan President's viewpoint. Work short time, rest well, learn a lot. Nice thoughts, no? So like that. And another statement, the website, they say, I want employees to think about and experience how they can achieve the same result with 20% less working time. That's called efficiency. Efficiency is not working full time, less time. In addition to the increased productivity, employees took 25% less time off during the trial and electricity. use was down 23% in the office and the traditional day pay of per week. Employees printed 59%, right? Fewer pages of paper during the trial. The vast majority of the employees, 92% said they liked the shorter week. So what has happened in this case, they have trial period. So during that time, what happened if you work in short time, electricity was down because if one day off means 25% electricity down. And then another thing is employees printed that's 59% few pages of paper during the trial, right? So because they are using normally photocopy machines and everything. Now what happened? They printed less pages, right? And vast majority of the employees, like 92%, they like this. They like what? They like the shorter week. And Microsoft Japan Work-Life Choice Challenge was a trial project. It's a trial project, unfortunately, you know? And it is not known if these changes will be implemented in offices elsewhere in the world on a longer term basis. And there are plans to repeat this challenge later in the year. So this is not a permanent kind of, this is like a trial, something they explain. Work only 4 days and take the Friday holiday. Okay, this question is a very important question. They're asking how this will be impacted. Evaluate question. This is the answer. You can see labor productive definition. Labor productivity is a measure of how efficiently a business uses its employees to produce output and is expressed as a output per employee per time period. Output per employee per time period. By changing the working week to 4 days, the productivity did increase by 40% at Microsoft Japan. Wow, right? Give the application. Yeah, always, whatever the question, give application. Use your context. Contextualize answer is important, my students. So this could be because the employees are given more responsibility, right? And feel empowered to work hard during the 4 days compared to 5 days. That's why. So once the president's statement also say, work short period of time, take a rest, learn a lot, right? Really important. So what happened? Productivity increase and given more responsibility to feel be empowered only for the 4 days. By trialing a 4-day week, employees have seen the Microsoft Japan cares about its employees and their well-being that resulted in higher productivity levels. 4 days working, 3 days resting. It's a good idea. Right? And by having a shorter working week, employees are less likely to take time off due to work-related stress. You can see, right? No work-related stress. In the trial, absenteeism rates declined by 25%. Trial and absenteeism rate actually declined by reduced by 25%. Right? So other benefits by a 4-day working week can be seen by the lower use of electricity. Right? Electricity consumption goes down by 23% and 59% less printing activities. Right? People don't need any printouts and everything. They are not coming. 1 day, 59% less printing. Benefits of another 4-day week, right? So all of these benefits indicate that the Microsoft Japan should implement a 4-day working week to improve labor productivity, particularly as 92% of employees preferred it. Right? That's why the implement a 4-day working week is very important, right? To improve the labor productivity, particularly as 92% of employees preferred it. However, the limitations part you can see, however, the improvement in labor productivity could have been due to other factors, right? The improvement of the labor productivity could have been due to the other factors such as the Hawthorne effect, which was identified by Mayo. So very important point here, you can see Hawthorne effect, right? Motivational, right? Finding out the in the theory, Elton Mayo, human relation theory, right? Along with the Maslow theory, along with the Herzberg theory, Taylor. Talk about the Hawthorne experiment identified by Mayo. What is the Hawthorne theory summary? Human relations are better than any other thing. Human relations school. If you improve the human relation, they will do anything for you, right? So that's why improvement in the labor productivity could have been used to other factors such as the Hawthorne effect, which was identified by Mayo. Employees may have increased their output because this was a trial and the challenge was only for 1 month, right? Right? This is the employees may have increased their output because this was a trial. This was only this is a trial. Sometimes they might think like that way. Okay, this is a short period. Let's do it. Let's do this, guys, like that. But normally, it's a trial. Look at the way they evaluate, right? No. Sometimes, yeah, this will be good. This will increase the productivity. Lifestyle will increase. Hawthorne also is very important. The supporting. You can use your knowledge, right? Use your knowledge, examples, citations as possible. You can use. This is unit 3, advanced level, right? So you can write anything in your answers. More points, more marks, right? At least try to write 4 positives, 4 negatives, right? Then only you can get a good answer, good marks. So employees may have increased output because this was a trial small period, short term. The management and Microsoft Japan would have ensured that the output would be maintained and there would be a danger of employees rushing work and feeling under pressure of fit task within the 4 days rather than 5. Yes, of course. This can be happen. Rushing, pressing, pressurizing. This can be happen. Why? Everywhere working. So short period of time only. No 7 days, no 5 days. 4 days you have to do. That's another disadvantage, isn't it? Possible. And there are other ways which Microsoft Japan could be used to improve their productivity, right? Other methods also. Alternative viewpoint is more important. So not only giving just a little period of time, but other ways. Technology, you can introduce new technology to enable employees to increase output per hour. Technology can be used. Other human resource strategies such as financial rewards may be used. Financial rewards may also be effective in increasing labor productivity. Financial motivation, why not? Time raise, piece rate, commission, bonus, performance related pay, everything can use. Right? Financial rewards may be also effective to increasing labor productivity or could be used in conjunction with the empowerment strategies. Combination you can use financial, non-financial, everything. So giving a 4-day working week is a non-financial, right? Non-financial. It's like a situation like a working from home, flexible working. Okay, so you can use conjunction with empowerment strategies. And also, Microsoft Japan has subsidized family holidays. Subsidized family holidays for employees, which could also result in higher productivity as employees are more rested and feel valued. This was a trial and it became a permanent feature. This will give you some kind of like another thing. Why? Subsidized family holidays. Right? Employees feel more value. Not only for me, my family members also come. Right? So whether Microsoft Japan, that's why fully implemented 4-day week would be depending upon whether output and quality can be maintained by all 2,300 employees. Very, very important conclusion, guys. You see, it will depending on however it depending on whether everyone working like a same 2,300 employees. That's how you have to conclude the answer, right? Let's go to the last question of the paper. Question number 3, section C. Right. Section C. First of all, we'll read the case study and we'll come back for this. Right. Okay, here we go. Section C. Using the data in the extract G and H, evaluate the Pandora strategic decision to focus its core business on selling bracelets and charms. Right. This question you can see focus strategy decision to focus its core business. So right to bracelet and charms. So there's a basically the base question is this: is what Porter's diamond, right? Strategic metrics. I mean, the cost, leadership, focus, and differentiation. They talk about the focus strategy. Focus also, not the cost focus. Differentiation focus strategy they are using in this question. Right? We'll read what is Pandora and what they are doing and why they wanted to introduce this strategy. Just focus on this, the bracelet and charms. We'll go to the case study quickly, so you can see. So only just a 1 hour went. You can see the 2-hour paper. The discussion we can do is, but I know when you go to writing, it will take long time. Okay, here we go. The Pandora, right? Pandora papers. Remember, this is not Pandora paper, right? This is something else. Pandora shop. There's a movie also called Pandora's Box, if you remember, right? So Pandora shops have become out of date. Its brand a bit confused. True. The business has been struggling for some time. These judgments on the Danish jeweler famous for its collectible silver bracelet and charms, comes not from the rival business but from its own chief executive, right? Alexander Lasik. Pandora becomes the world's largest jewelry brand in volume terms relatively quickly and had few global rivals. In recent years, sales have started to decline and its share price has fallen by two-thirds since 2016. Share price fallen by two-thirds. Lasik argues that the key to Pandora's success is its charm bracelets, which account for about 70% of its sales and allow customers to collect and easily switch between the different charms. So keep in mind, 70% of the sales are coming from two products. What is that? Charms and bracelets. And what happened? The Lasik says he wanted to keep the focus of his relaunch very narrow and the focus on his core product crystal clear. This is asking what? Focus strategy. He was unhappy with the business efforts to expand into rings and other jewelry products. Yeah, as jeweler, have to make everything rings, diamond rings, necklaces, diamond necklaces. But they are doing what? Charms, right? Bracelets, right? Third paragraph. Pandora is updating its physical and e-commerce stores. Physical and e-commerce means online stores. It is introducing a new product, including charm designs and target younger consumers, particularly teenage girls. That's their target market segment is teenage girls. Pandora has launched a line called Pandora Me that consists of bracelets, earrings, and brooch. It's customizable. Dozens of mini charms. Other high-profile products launch will include the Harry Potter branded jewelry and range base of Disney's Frozen films. So many application points are there. My student, you can see when you're reading these case studies, do not read just read. You can use your highlighter, you can underline, you can use it. All right. So, and the marking scheme, you can see they're asking, again, I'm asking the focus strategy they're asking. Right. Here we go, the question. Yeah, they have given some kind of application here. The case study not enough. You can see it not finished. Case study we have gone a little bit down. You can see further here, right? Extract H is there. Pandora annual report they have given, my students, right? So annual report. This case study is based on ratio analysis. Revenue, gross profit, operating profit, and profit for the financial year. Right? Revenue, gross profit, operating profit, and profit for the financial year. 2017 and 2018, you can see revenue, gross profit, operating profit, everything is given. And product wise, they have given. Product wise. So by using these numbers, you can use in 20 mark course, you can use some points. What is that? You can calculate gross profit margin for 2 years, gross profit over revenue into 100. You can calculate the operating profit margin for the year, operating profit over revenue into 100. You can calculate the profit for the year, profit margin, net profit margin, profit for the year over revenue into 100. And they are given the revenue by products 2018 and 17. Charms, growth is minus. Bracelet, 11% high growth rate. Rings, 0%. Earrings, just 5%. Necklaces, pendants, 24%. So that's why they wanted to focus it on what? Bracelet and charms, pendants. Because these other products are unsuccessful. Right? So they want to go for the successful product lines like charms and bracelets. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the right. So let's go to the marking scheme of this question. So while using this thing, you can use this numbers and answers. You can calculate separately and use in your answer. Please use these numbers in your answers as possible as you can. In application point, you can calculate gross profit margin for 2 years, operating profit margin for 2 years, profit for the year margin for 2 years. And these results indicate that the financial situation of Pandora is worse in 2018 when compared to 17. All ratios. Correct? No? Right. 17, how much? 74.7. 74.4 is 74.2. 17, 34, here 28. Here profit 25, here 22. Everything is worst. Eh? Gone down, fall. The strategic decision is to focus bracelet and charms. Could help to improve these figures as over 70% of the revenue is generated by these jewelry products. Pandora could maintain or increase in the market share of current products by a combination of advertising. And you can see how to use this. These are performance gone down, but you can regain. They can increase the market share by how much? By doing promotion, combination of advertising and sales promotion to improve the overall brand image in conjunction with the relaunch. Right? So Extract H shows the revenue from the sale of bracelets has increased from 11% in 2018. Right? So yeah, it's increased. 11%, that's the highest, right? Charms 28%. Second highest is this product, right? Bracelet. 2018 indicating that this is a good jewelry product to focus is on, and is an example of market penetration. Market penetration is the least risky and the 4 strategies according to Ansoff. Yeah, market penetration. What is that? Market penetration we call selling what? Existing product in existing market, right? According to Ansoff would be the most cost effective in the short term, right? And also by focusing on its strength and focusing on what is known, could help to improve the sales and strengthen the brand overall, right? This is the one. However, Extract H also shows that the charms have declined by 6%, gone down. Necklace pendant have been sent large increase of 24%. This would seem to indicate that the Pandora should not solely focus on bracelet and charms, need to consider other types of product it offers. These are general comments you can see. Not only one, but if you have a portfolio of product, you can give attention to everything, right? Not only for the cash cows and stars, right? What about the question mark? What about the dogs? Same thing. And it could be beneficial to develop its range of necklace and pendants, right? Necklace and pendants to complement its bracelet and charm ranges. Product development of new product such as a Harry Potter and Disney jewelry into existing market could prove successful, right? It's good. Introducing Harry Potter themes and Disney themes, very good. Can increase the market share. And offering a wide range of jewelry to a new and younger customers could help to appeal a new customer, right? This was the market segment is teenage girls. Could help to appeal a new customer who are not interested in the purchasing bracelet and charms, right? Because this is important. Why? Some people would not like to buy bracelet charms. They can't wear this to schools, but you can what? But if you like Harry Potter or you like Frozen, you can try. Especially young teenagers, they love very much. Girls and boys also. Right? So product development and having a wide product portfolio might help to improve its financial position also. Yes, wide product portfolio is best. Overall, to get the conclusion, Pandora needs to consider the long-term cost implications and the current external influences of just focusing on bracelet and charms as to whether this will increase the sales revenue and the profitability. Okay, so that's the end of the question paper we discussed today, the 2021, the second latest paper. So you can see the other paper 2022 in my YouTube channel. You can see. Today we discussed about the 2021 October paper, section A, section B, and section C. We discussed paper 3 case study and these answers. Right. So with that, so we'll wind up our session. So thank you very much. Please subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet. Thank you for your comments. It's encouraging me. Thank you very much for your blessings and wishes. And I also wish you good luck for the upcoming exams. You can use this paper, you can use these marking schemes and everything, right? So good luck for the examinations. Right. We'll see you and we'll keep in touch with other paper discussions also like this. And thank you very much. Good luck.